How was my child identified as an English language learner? Before we answer this important question, we must first understand the difference between two terms that are often used in schools to talk about the language abilities of English language learners. Language development is a process that takes time. Students move along this process at different rates. Some students move towards becoming advanced English speakers much quicker than others. Language proficiency is information that tells us where students are at a specific point in time in their language development. It is like a measurement of their ability to use language. Information on language proficiency comes from students' scores on language proficiency tests. Every student is different, but with support, students can make progress in their language. If your child is identified as an English language learner, then as a parent, you have the right to know and understand your child's English language proficiency and how their English language development is being supported at school. Federal and state policies require that school districts have a process in place to identify students who are English language learners. Typically, this process begins when you register your child for school. During the registration process, districts will use a form commonly known as a home language survey to collect information about the languages spoken in the home. If a parent indicates that a language other than English is spoken in the home, or that their child speaks a language other than English, then the student's English language proficiency must be screened or assessed. A language screener is a test that gives schools a general idea of a student's language proficiency. Members of the WIDA consortium commonly use a language screener called WIDA Screener to assess incoming students' English language proficiency in grades 1 through 12. WIDA Screener is an English language proficiency assessment used to help determine if incoming students in 1st through 12th grade are English language learners. WIDA Screener can be taken as a computer-based test or as a paper-based test. WIDA Screener was designed to measure what a student can do with a social and instructional language and what they can do with academic language in the areas of language arts, mathematics, science, and social studies. The results from WIDA Screener give teachers an idea of where the student is in regards to their English language development. Are they beginners? Are they more towards the middle or intermediate level? Or are they advanced? A student's score on WIDA Screener are reported as numbers that range from 1.0 to 6.0. A score of 1.0 can be thought of as a beginner score, while a 6.0 can be thought of as an advanced score. Scores from WIDA Screener are reported in different ways. One way they are reported is by the language domain. The 4 language domains are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. For each of the 4 language domains, students will receive a score ranging from 1.0 to 6.0. Another way scores on WIDA Screener are reported is by composite scores. A composite score is simply a combination of 2 or more scores. There are 3 composite scores reported on WIDA Screener. The literacy composite proficiency level is a combination of reading and writing. The oral composite proficiency level is a combination of listening and speaking. And the overall composite proficiency level is a combination of all 4 domains. For each of the composite scores, students will receive a score ranging from 1.0 to 6.0. Let's talk about how to interpret the scores, or how to make sense of the scores. The scores from WIDA Screener for grades 1 through 12 correspond to the 6 levels of English language proficiency defined by WIDA. The WIDA levels of English language proficiency are important to know and understand because they describe what students at each of the levels can do with the English language when they have the additional appropriate supports or additional help. It is important to know and understand what the WIDA Screener scores mean because they are based on the WIDA levels of English language proficiency and are commonly used in the WIDA consortium to identify students as English language learners. Eligibility criteria are established at a state level, but in some cases they are established at a district level. Eligibility criteria are used to identify English language learners and determine if a student is eligible to receive English language program support. If your child is eligible for English language program support, you will be notified by the type of support services the school recommends for your child's individual needs, as well as information on the services the school can provide. Parents can accept language program support, refuse language program support, or request a different type of language program support if it is available at the school or district. So, how is my child identified as an English language learner? Your child was identified as an English language learner through a process district used to properly place students in English language support programs. This process includes assessing students' English language proficiency and determining if student scores meet the eligibility criteria set by the state and/or district.